got some bubblegum. I love listening to people ramble when they are chewing on gum because I like the mouth sounds. So it is the 3rd of June, and that means it's Pride Month. And I want to share my experience with being LGBTQIA+. Mostly because I don't get to do that very often. And also because, I feel that my experience is a little bit more rare, I suppose. And I want to know if anybody else can relate or have like the same experience as me. Well, not exactly the same, but like similar experiences as me. So, unfortunately, well, okay, let's start with, I am, bisexual, and I am gender fluid. I'm sure you know what bisexual, what that means. But some people don't know what gender fluid means. And I know people might hear that and say, oh, is that like a Tumblr thing where it's fake? Even people who are like allies hear that and don't really understand. So let me kind of explain what that is. The way I like to explain it is that I don't feel 100% masculine 100% of the time, and I don't feel 100% feminine 100% of the time. And some people think that people who feel that way, or maybe just the way that it's explained, that people think like, oh, then you're like non-binary, or like, but I think that's like a different thing entirely, which I could, I suppose, identify as non-binary, but I just don't vibe with it, I guess. I don't know. I really don't have another explanation for that, other than I just don't think it fits. Because sometimes I feel 100% absolutely comfortable in my own skin. Like right now I'm feeling more masculine. I have facial hair. And I feel okay being a guy. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like I want to crawl out of my own skin. And I want to have like 0 body hair. I want to wear makeup. I want to put my falsies on because I have a breastplate that I have that I don't like using the word cross-dress, but I do wear more feminine outfits, and again I have, false breasts, if you want was trans. But I don't think I could ever get the surgery, and I don't think I could ever do hormones. Because, again, sometimes I feel comfortable being a guy, and sometimes I don't. Now, I found out that I was, I guess we could just say as a general, gender non-conforming, right? Probably like late middle school, early high school. I knew I wasn't. I knew I didn't feel comfortable being a guy. 100%, right? And I wanted to go on hormones, and I wanted to make that permanent. Well, I wanted to make that decision to change my body. You know, there are detransitioners, so it's not like permanent, but like, you know what I mean? I wanted to make those decisions, but the more that I explored myself, the more I realized that, yeah, sometimes I'm just okay with being who I am. I can look in the mirror and say, yeah, that's me. I'm a guy. I'm a dude. That's me. But not all the time. So, that's why I like the term gender fluid. And that can change. I don't really know the longest that I've stayed in one mode versus the other without changing, and I don't know when the shortest time is, but this just past time, I'm just now, because of how I like to tell people that I'm able to tell, that you can tell how long I felt comfortable in my own skin by the facial hair, how long the facial hair is. And since it's not very long, I just barely recently, like maybe a week ago, started feeling more comfortable as a guy. But I was putting on makeup and shaving for like maybe a month or two. I don't know, but sometimes I don't know if it's ever lasted more than or less than a month. But I would say my phases are like between 1 month and like 4 months, probably. And it just changes. It could change literally like, oh, I'm going about my day being a guy, and then I will see a dude, like this actually happened to me once. I saw a dude wearing earrings, and I'm like dangly earrings, like right now I have my little katanas. But I saw this guy working at a gas station. I was getting an energy drink or something, and he had super dangly earrings, and I'm like, I want a pair of those, and I got myself a pair like his, and then I felt like, oh, well, now I feel more feminine, and then I did my makeup just like look at myself in the mirror and I start to not recognize myself. And my feelings will change, you know? And I know it's not like my actual like sex will change. I know that. I know that. But like my feelings about myself, which is kind of what gender is, I suppose, will change. And I start dressing and acting accordingly, I suppose. So, my experience with being gender fluid, or gender non-conforming at the very least, and also being bisexual. The reason why I say my experience is a little bit more rare is one, because not very many people, in my experience anyway, identify as gender fluid. But also because I grew up religious, and that in itself isn't rare either. But I believe that God still loves me, and that God still wants me, regardless of how I identify and how I feel, and how I act in regards to my gender. I still believe that my God made me this way for a reason, and He loves me, even still. And I won't go deep into the whole religion versus being LGBT plus in depth unless it's requested, right? But that's my view on that, and I still want to respect specifically my mother and my grandparents. So I feel like suppressed in a way, because if either A, my mom and my grandparents weren't around, or B, I lived in a different place far away from them, I would feel 50, 100, 1,000 times more free to express myself the way that I want in public all the time. But because of my financial situation, and because my mom is disabled, she has a bad back. She was crushed by a forklift, and a couple of her discs in her spine were fused, and she's had like 12 different surgeries to try and correct it, and nothing works. Because she is disabled, and because both of our financial situations are so awful in today's economy, right? Because me and my wife live with my mom, I'm stuck living with her, with my mom. And it's taken, has taken a lot of mental fortitude, a lot of guarding my heart, a lot of emotional strength to even have my ears pierced, and to have even like this, like my katana in my ear. I mean, I still wear dangly earrings or whatever in front of my mom. That's like the farthest I'll go, right? I won't even wear them around my grandparents because I'm too afraid of what they'll say. And that's my own problem. Believe me, I know that's my own problem. If I wanted to, I could, and damn the consequences, and I'm sure they would get over it, but the thing is, I respect them, and they've done too much for me to kind of do that in front of them. That's my issue, and with more than just wearing earrings in front of my mom, that's my issue. Because even though she is super duper religious, she's always, for the most part, like 75% of my life, has always been good to me. Always. She's always loved me through everything. I used to be a really bad alcoholic, and she tried her best to love me through that. And I had an abusive wife for almost 5 years, and she loved me through that. And I just respect them too much to upset them, I suppose. So, me feeling suppressed in my expression is my problem. You know, it's something that I'm still trying to push past, to express myself the way that I want in my own house. Because yes, I am on the lease, and I do pay for a lot. You know, with my mom's social security and her disability and all that, she pays for the rent and the utilities. But I do pay for the Wi-Fi that she uses. I do go physically to the place that we need to go to pay the utilities and the rent, because she doesn't ever get out of the house. I do go grocery shopping for her, and when her food stamps and her social security runs out, I do pay for like her medications and her groceries, even if she runs out before she gets more money from the government. I do throw out the garbage and do the dishes and mow the lawn and all that good stuff, so it's not like I'm financially taking advantage of her. She helps us with a roof over our head and running water and toilets, and we help her by getting her groceries and her medications every month and doing all the chores around the house, keeping it, decent. But that's besides the point. Getting back on topic again. Ramble, I know. But it's taken a lot of emotional strength to even wear like my hair like this, like because she said, she has mentioned before while I was in high school that wearing my hair like this is effeminate, and wearing any kind of earrings, first of all, but then to wear the kind of earrings that I want in front of her, she still gives me weird looks. But she doesn't say anything, because she knows that I help her. And she has mentioned, like, hey, this is wrong in the eyes of the Lord. And I'm like, yeah, okay, Mom, if you say so. I don't believe that it is. And she has made herself heard. Her opinion has been noted and disregarded. But it's taken a lot to even do that in front of her. And it's, I guess, the rare kind of part of my experience comes from wanting to myself around them, I guess. I don't know if it would be like respect for them or a lack of respect for myself. That could be it. I don't know. But also that I still believe in God regardless of how I feel about my gender and my sexuality. I guess that's what kind of makes it a little bit more rare, in my opinion, I guess. That I kind of envy people who aren't in my situation, I guess. It's going to be very strange when me and my wife are financially stable enough to have our own place, I suppose, because I've never lived by myself. I have always either lived with my mother or my grandparents or a cousin. I lived with a cousin at one time, or friends of my ex-wife. Me and my ex-wife lived with some of her friends for a while. I've never just lived with either by myself or just me and my wife. I've never had that experience before. And I've had tastes of that experience where me and my wife have had little, like, 3 or 4 day, the longest time was 5-day, vacations. Like, in another city, in a hotel. And I love it. I love being able to express myself the way that I want to. And I love being able to just be open and free with my wife. You know? And being able to do almost anything that I want. Without having to worry about consequences. But, yeah. That's kind of my experience being, in the queer community. Well, not really being in the queer community, but my experience being queer, I guess. I hope that, that if you do relate, or if you have a similar experience, that you can, share it with me, or at least feel like you are understood, because that's what this is for, to let people know that if you do have similar experiences, that you're not alone, and that there are people out there that understand. And if you feel like you need someone to talk to, that I hope that you feel comfortable enough, I guess, to reach out. I have a TikTok. I think it's the same name as this channel. I still need to take those little. I haven't done a lot with my TikTok yet. I have maybe like 4 or 5 videos on it. But let's see. Hold on, let me check real quick. Nikki Boy ASMR and Nikki Boy ASMR. Yeah, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 videos on my TikTok. This is my TikTok. Look at that. Wow. Go follow me over there, and I'll probably TikToks on my YouTube as shorts. So, yeah, if you need someone to talk to, about anything, I might not be able to always respond. I might not be able to always, be able to have a quick chat with you. But, I want to be there for you. I want to be able to build a community. I want to be able to help people, because when my wife gets done going to school, she's going to college online. I want to go to school. I want to go to college. And I want to do that for some kind of counseling or psychology or something like that, because I feel like I want to help people, and I definitely don't want to be a cop. Screw that. For multiple reasons. I don't want to be like a firefighter or anything like that, but right now I work as in-home care for vulnerable adults. And when they come to me and ask me for help with a certain issue that they're having, and I can actually sit down with them and try my best to empathize with them and give them advice or help them through just a rough time just by hanging out with them, playing a video game with them, or watching a movie with them or something like that, that fills me with a lot of happiness and joy, that I'm able to help them with something, especially when a lot of people who work for my company don't care, and they just kind of sit on their phone for most of the day. It makes me feel special that I get to actually help these people, and I want to be able to help other people in that same way, even if it's specifically just with like LGBT issues, for people who are in similar situations like me, even if it's just to talk. I'd like to do that. I think that would be really, really cool. So, hit up my TikTok, like and subscribe. Let me know if you feel similarly, or even if you just say, hey, great video. I actually had a comment like that on one of my very first videos that I ever posted, and I think that's really super duper cool, that even one person was like, hey, you're doing a good job, even though I know that I am severely lacking on this channel, because I've uploaded 2 videos in the past month, and then I didn't post for like 6 months or something like that. But I do want to keep on posting videos on here, and I do want to have them be encouraging. And I hope this video is encouraging to you. But anyway, we're at half an hour already, so, and whispering like this hurts my voice really bad, so I'm gonna go ahead and go. If you like podcasts where 2 idiots talk about whatever that they find in the news or just find interesting, go check out the Taboo Tater Tots Club podcast. We